Hi, my friend. I'm Pat Sloan, and it is Saturday, our Saturday Sweep Up Challenge Day for the organization Extravaganza. So on Saturdays, we have maybe we have a little bit more time, maybe not, but hey, I'm going to assume 2 days a week on Tuesdays and Saturdays. It's a little bit more time you decide to devote to organizing. And so today I had on there to sort of part 2 of notions, and for me that's my main gig is the notions, and I know I've showed it a few times, but I'm showing it again because I'm getting some really great progress. I'm going to go through these drawers and I'm going to tell you a little bit about what's in here and what I might do about this. Now before we do that, it is Strawberry Ice Cream Day. Are you a fan of strawberry ice cream? I could tell you that I like it now. It isn't something I would order, but if it arrived, I would enjoy it. Although I can't eat ice cream anymore, but if I could. But I remember as a kid, it's like, ew, I didn't like vanilla at all. Like you get that chocolate vanilla strawberry slice thing, you know, like I never ate the strawberry. But if you are a strawberry lover, if you have a quilt with strawberries on it, like the one that we did together here, or with my birdsong fabric, or you have a quilt that's maybe done in pinks with strawberry fabric in it, reds with strawberry fabric, but something with strawberries. So that is today's sort of show. If you want to go over to my site, Quilt Along with Pat Sloan at Facebook, you can share a picture of your strawberry quilts. Speaking of quilts, several people asked me about this one that was on the back of my sofa, so I thought I would bring it out for you to see. It is called Down the Garden Path. It was done a few years back for one of my batik fabric lines. So all of these are batiks, including the white. It was really nice, beautiful white batik. And I love how it just has a little bit of a glow to it. This pattern is a download in my digital pattern store, so you can get it over there. I've linked it in the description box down below here under the video. All right, let's do our talk about the challenge, and then I have some quite a few Q&A because a lot of them are related to what we've talked about with the organizing so far. So I think it'd be kind of fun. We'll kind of go through those and group them and, you know, see what's happening. So let's first just look at the progress. So I got my other camera and we'll take a peek as to what is in there. This is the shelf the gray basket of notions is in that I'm just talking about, and here is the red cabinet. And so I have gone through in each drawer and reduced and organized. So here is drawer number 2. The thing I'm not sure about on this one is I have levels. So I have these 2 containers, but they're things that I don't get into that much. So I'm going to give that a try because it does keep small things together. So like in here is some of the seam rippers, tape, and glue sticks. So, you know, I'm not getting those all the time because those are extras, and I have one out to work with. Okay, drawer 3. Again, all of these little containers are so useful. Either like here's a box, this is a little basket. These are just plastic, you know, like food things. There's my washi tape, and a lot of you were like, had no idea what that was used for. So I use it primarily for paper, and then sometimes to mark my rulers. You've seen me do that. I put that on my rulers to mark a line if I need it. It doesn't really stay on fabric for marking fabric. There you need something else. Okay, I've got a whole empty drawer for the things that I'm looking at today that I want to be able to access more easily, so I don't want to put them too far away. So they will go in here. Free drawer, oh my goodness. And then down here, these are my squares that I use when I want to start free motion quilting. I'll do a little bit on these to test them out. And then I have some supplies. So, you know, rotary cutting blades and some other things. Okay, this has been super successful. Now the gray bin is going to be empty. So I've got that extra drawer down there, and there's some things I'll put in there that are maybe a bit bigger, but mostly I'm looking for things that I will use more often that I'll be looking for. Okay, so let me just show you a few notions. I still have this little bag to go through, which is not a lot. There's a lot of sort of supplies for, I don't know. I have to look through it. But anyways, there's a couple of the things I saw that I thought you might like to know about. So this one is called So Daisy, and they are these little caps that you can put on your Aurifil thread. I thought this is so cool. And then you can put, if you want to like travel with one spool of thread and some needles and pins, you can put them in the top, and this closes the bottom and then puts a lid on it. So there you go. So I think those are super nifty. They come in a couple of different colors, and everything is linked below in the description box. Another thing are these thread blades, and I think you get 3 of them in the pack. They are just little thread cutters. And so they've got a little sticky, and then you can put one where you like to cut thread, because oftentimes on our machine, manufacturer puts a couple thread cutters, but it might be that you like to cut thread at a certain place. And so you could just stick it on there, and it's really super nice. I had a couple other needle minders because, I love them. And these are from Bev. The globe, I love the globe. And the bee is so stinking cute. So I got the bee. Now I also have, this came I think in one of the So Sampler boxes recently. These are slap and wraps. So I remember I had that pink one I was showing you the other day. One of the things that they have that's great for is if you have a big cone of thread, you can wrap a cone of thread. You can wrap, oh here they come out. You can wrap the wrap vinyl or your cork if you're using cork, any of those. There it goes that way. So you can take it and just wrap things that are a little bit more bulky, and rather than like putting a rubber band around it or something, this is nice and flat, and so it won't sort of crunch up, like particularly something like the cork or your vinyl. A rubber band was probably going to make a mark. So these are great. So those slap and wrap, and they also have a pen on there to write, so that if you are marking some supplies, some interfacings, fusibles, those kind of things. I have 3 different seam rippers to try out. So I am personally going to be trying these and just see if I like them, if they fit well with my hand. I've used for years just the Clover one, but it's nice to try what new things are out there ergonomically. So I'm going to look at those. Something I forgot to show you about this the other day on this notion is these are the Fat Quarter Shop's new magnetic pin tray, but there is a little container on the back, and this actually comes out. So like if you're traveling, if you're putting this in your travel sewing kit, you can take the container out, put your pins in it, and then slip it on the bottom. This is brilliant, just brilliant. I love that. I didn't notice it. I saw it, but I didn't take the time to figure it out. So I thought you might want to know. Now this is something that was in the gray basket that I have messed around with. My friend, I forget who told me about this. It may have been Cindy about a year ago or so. But it is called the Iron Finger. And so you can actually press on this, and you can see here if you have something maybe like a tube that you want to press, or you're pressing like a seam open, that's what's on there. Or if you have like a little bag that you want to really get the corners, or you want to press it nicely with something inside, these are super, super cool. Now that's one of the things that I'm going to put in that tray down there so that I can get to them, get to some of these items a little bit more easily. Now what do I have going on? Let me just put these back, put them out of the way for a sec. So what happened is like a lot of years back, I bought one of these stacking hat boxes because I just thought they were very cool, very chic-y. Look at that, beautiful. The tops are beautiful. Of course, they're stacked, so like you're never going to see the top. And there's another bag. But I thought they would be great for keeping some supplies because they're pretty. And I think at one point when I first got them, I did have them out. So, I got to see them, and they're kind of classic black and white, newsprinty looking. And so they, didn't compete with visually. They look nice. But now they stay in a closet, and I'm thinking that the space I have in there would be better utilized, because it's a, shelf. It would be better utilized of a rectangular basket, like a stack of 3 of those, because some of these things in here they're not that full, like this one. Basically is, I put in some of these longer things like this from the other day when I showed you, and like I really should offload this onto something smaller and more usable. I mean, when I bought this, it had a lot more on it many years ago, so it came on that big spool because it was more like an industrial thing. I have some other twine, so you see this box is not being utilized, and that's what happens with us many times with our supplies, our notions, is that we end up maybe with a container that's not the best container for the item, and then sometimes we have not the right thing in the container. So this one is zippers and mesh, and maybe a bit of interfacing that I haven't used. So it's actually, this stores in here well, but I'm thinking if I replace, it'll just be in a rectangular shape. And then the last one I'll put up here, and we can take a look in it, because the bottom one has some long-term supplies, which are for, here's some embroidery hoops, and some scissors, and then I have things like this. My friend Jane manufactured these, and she gave me a set, and I have the other papers, all the hexagon papers. These are regular paper, for not hexagons, for paper piecing, English paper piecing papers. And then there's things like some Velcro. So these are supplies. I have the Q-snaps hoops in here, and I have an older ironing board cover. So just in case for some reason I need to get rid of my ironing board cover and not finding anything, this one is used, but it's I could put it back on if I had to. And so in here, there's things I'm probably going to keep all this, but I just need to kind of look through it. Oops, get that fit in there. So like scissors don't really need to be in those boxes. I can take them out. So that is, and this will wrap up my part of notions for this month, because there is some sewing machine type notions, other threads for like I use for the embroidery, and rulers for embroidery, and not embroidery, rulers for free motion quilting, and line work that I've not really experimented with, but I'm going to keep those all together, and they're in this cabinet, in this drawers under here, plus the feet from my machine and all that stuff. And I'm not really going through that stuff. I'm happy with what it is and where it is. All right, let's do some wrap-up questions here for today, and they're mostly dealing with the challenge, the organization extravaganza. So first, Susan says, what is the smallest scrap I save? Well, as I told you, it's 2.5, and those 2.5-inch squares are all I'm saving right now. And that's the way I've been working for quite a few years, except for in 2021 when I kept everything and I sewed everything. I had nothing left. I sewed it as I made it. So it was a whole event. Okay, Barbara and several others wanted to know where you donate things to. So this is a great topic. If you have items and you want to donate them, this is not talking about where you could sell them, because you could do Facebook free market, you could, sell them at a yard sale or something. But if you want to give them away, you can contact your local guild, you can contact your local Project Linus, you can contact any of the places that are on the list I have at my website, link is below. You could go to Free Cycle. So if you have a Free Cycle or a no-buy groups in your community, you could list it on there. You could contact any other kind of organization that you think might have crafting going on, like maybe with the scouting, with the senior centers, those kind of things. So you have to do a little research on your own, because I'm an advocate of finding local, than not spending money on shipping. Shipping is very expensive, and so you do not really want to ship this stuff places when you have lots of options in your local community. So list below in the description box those of you who have other places that you have donated crafting items. Okay, Marie says, I struggle with getting rid of fabric. What if I need it? Well, first of all, if you don't have to get rid of it, don't. I mean, if your space can handle it, if you're you're not mentally overloaded by it, if you don't have any issues with having what you have, you don't have to get rid of it. But if you are a person that is overloaded and you need to have less, well, then get rid of the things first that you know that you really are not in love with anymore, and just keep what you're in love with. And you can't be in love with everything. If you really want to get rid of stuff, now I'm talking about when you want to get rid of things, you're not in love with everything. So you have to, okay, this is what, we can do hard things. When you have to do it, we can do hard things, because some of you are downsizing, you do not have the space. You don't want to have to pay for off-site storage of fabric. No, that's crazy, that's crazy. So you can do hard things. And if you need something again, you can go buy it. You can go buy it. Terry wanted to know if I want to donate the blocks in my parts bin. No, I don't. I want to sew with them, so I'm not donating them. Let's see. Bella Ann says, I'm currently working on a project and haven't started the Scrappy Knit is Happiness, but I'm going to pick up my fabric. Is there a background color you don't like to use in a scrappy quilt? For scrappy quilts, I prefer to use fabrics with high contrast, meaning very light or very dark. I find that a scrappy quilt, if you're trying to pick a background that's in the medium tones, is going to be less effective to me. Very light, very dark. That's where I go. Sherry says, do I use a special rotary cutter to cut foundation paper blocks? No, I just use the same rotary cutter I always use. Aviva wants to know, like, why do I have, basically she asked a lot of questions, but basically it is, why do I have a lot of rotary cutters? I collect them, period. I collect them. I worked with the company, and I still work with the company, Olfa, and I enjoy their rotary cutters, and I collect them, so that's why I have them. Okay, I think that is good. We have gotten through a lot of questions. I am pulling these questions primarily from the YouTube questions here. So if you have one, I will try to include it, especially during this month when it has to do with the challenge, the extravaganza of organization. I would love to be able to get you as many answers as possible. And I have to squeeze in one mail call that came just when I was finishing taping. This is from Peggers in Iowa, and she sent the Dalai Lama. So get ready. First she found, oh my goodness, this is Gumi Lunchables. I can tell you, I first looked at this, I thought she sent me cheese and salami. It's like, no, it's Gumis. Oh my goodness, this cracks me up so much. So they're Gummy bears. Oh, Peggers, this is too much. Then the other thing came wrapped with this note. So let me read it. Late is such an ugly word. I prefer promptness challenged. That being said, happy birthday, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Okay, be ready. Here is what she sent me. Flo the Flamingo. This is the Elizabeth Hartman pattern that I am dying to do, and she sent me one already made that I could get quilted. I just love her so much. Pegger said that her mom's name was Flo, and she's done several of these for people, and so cute. I love it. Mwah. Thank you so much. All right, so I do have just a little bit, not much, just a little bit, and then I am closing up the notions part for myself, and I'm happy with it. I'm happy with it. Okay, I love you. Mwah. Thank you for being here in the Sloan Zone. I will see you online.